is what it seems like. All right, we're about to get started. Intro is about to fire.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show being broadcast live on various social media outlets, including Facebook Live, Martin Houston Live, Tide 109, Alabama Tradition, X's and O's, as well as Martin Houston Personal. We're also broadcasting on YouTube at Martin Houston Live and at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Based on which one of those you tune into, give us a like, give us a follow, share us with family and friends, tell them about the great things happening on the Martin Houston Show and on Tide 100.9. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. We got like I said, a great show lined up for you. Want to invite you to get in on the conversation. You can join us at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Alabama One hotline is open for business, so I want to invite you to join in on the conversation. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, Joe. Good morning. How you doing, sir?
Oh, not too bad. Happy to be here. Ready to get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still holding. Sometimes in the mornings when you have guests, you always hold out your breath till you get full confirmation. Our goal is to have Kendall Randolph on this morning. If he's able to join us, we'll be adding him in the second quarter. If not, we will have a full show dedicated to talking Alabama sports and beyond. And speaking of the beyond, I got a couple stories out there, guys, happening around the sporting world. Pretty big news, and one of them is Sweet Home Alabama was not written in. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I know that there's a fun story up on on Tide 109, Joe. That Sweet Home Alabama, the home of the writer of the song, was not from Alabama. Wasn't written in the state of Alabama. Was recorded in most of the shows, but anyway, I just having fun there. But hey, no, guys, a couple quick sidebar stories before we start talking a little bit about Alabama getting a bunch of guys on the SEC team. Bryce Young getting yet another another award that's going to result in money. But golf is the PGA Tour in trouble. Joe, is the possibility are they going to have to find a Tiger Woods and find a Tiger Woods in a hurry, or are they going to begin to see their ratings and their opportunities and their popularity dwindle, not just in America but around the world?
Well, I definitely think that golf is the PGA Tour is in need of a little innovation or a little tweaking. The PGA Tour is kind of under threat from the LIV Tour starting this week in London, as Phil Mickelson confirmed yesterday on a $200 million deal that he'll be playing in the LIV Tour. They've taken roughly 40 something players away from the PGA Tour, and it seems like the LIV Tour and the Saudi Americans are coming for all the cookies.
Yeah, it's very interesting when Phil made his team. Boy, he got raked over the coals, but now it looks like several other big name players, and one of those being multi-time major winner Dustin Johnson signing up to be a part of the tour, and several people have tried to make this a political thing. Joe and X, when they were talking about the human rights of the people, human right, violation, and I can't remember exactly which golfer it was that said it specifically, but others concurred afterwards. Said, "Hey, if we were to try to take on every political angle of all of the different countries we play in already, then we'd never be, golfers. We're golfers, not politicians." Any thoughts from either one of you guys on those comments and whether or not, a lot of times it takes two things to be successful, guys, at any pro sport, and that's money and the athletes, and it looks like they have both of these.
Yeah, I think the comments were fair, and really the PGA Tour has really tried to shame a lot of these golfers into staying on the PGA Tour. But the PGA Tour, I mean, they're running PGA Tour China. They've got several other, they try to come off as the moral authority, and I think that's pretty disingenuous from their perspective.
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say there. Another big news item is a big sale at the NFL level in terms of Denver Broncos being sold. You get sold for a few dollars last night. They've been on the market, I think, for quite a while, and finally they were sold. X, give us an update on what's going on with the Denver Broncos and whether that means anything for the college team that's affiliated with the family that purchased it.
Yeah, the Walton family, the family that out of Arkansas that are the founders and owners. Walmart bought the Denver Broncos for $4.65 billion. So yeah, just a pretty little penny. But as far as what it could potentially do for Arkansas, I mean, it might be another NIL revenue source when you really stop and look at it. They already have the money strictly from Walmart that goes into the school, but now having an NFL team attached to it, that's just more revenue in other ways.
Hey, Joe, guys, do y'all think that come on, are there any guidelines around NFL teams being a part of? Now, I know we've talked about boosters, but are there any guidelines around NFL teams having NIL deals? So think about that for a second. So I don't know if there is. And you may say, well, how would they do that? Easy. You just give them an internship. You hire those guys to work for you. I mean, you use that all of those connections to do that. Now, would that be a game changer in a hurry for the likes of the California schools and the New York schools and and the Ohio schools? All of a sudden, if they're able to do that, do you know of anything, Joe, that prevents that or X from preventing that from happening at this moment?
No, not off the top of my head.
I'm with you. I think that you just you just kind of shocked me a little bit. Take a business internship for a summer, and wow, that's attractive.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. I had not thought about that till you guys were sharing with me about that purchase. But let's go to a team that will quickly benefit from that. Ohio State. Okay, let's just think about Ohio State for one moment. Ohio State, the big issue with not issue, big opportunity with the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, all of a sudden being able to partner with Ohio State and those players, if they decide to do that, all of a sudden Ohio State has another recruiting tool that it's going to be hard to beat. So just something to think about. I don't know that it's anything there or not, but we'll definitely look look into that as a possibility. There's a lot of other things going on. What are you guys' thoughts about Mr. Bryce Young getting yet another recognition as I think his Heisman moment, he had a really great season, but his Heisman moment clearly locking things up when he took down the Auburn Tigers, but had a challenge on his hands as the possibility of the ASWA Amateur Athlete of the Year, but he brought home the trophy. What are your thoughts on that, real quick?
Just another piece of hardware for the collection. Bryce might walk away one of the most decorated players in Alabama history with another solid year. Congratulations to him. Beat Auburn again, beating Sonny Lee for the award. So just congratulations to Bryce, and looking forward to more awards coming.
Yeah. And it's easy. I say he joins good company. And we haven't even talked about this. How many Heisman trophies does Auburn have? 3?
3, yes, sir.
3. And now Alabama has how many?
4.
Do you remember the time when that used to be what was held over the Alabama folks' head? I just thought about it. Like I said, sometimes we start this show, man, I have a direction. I want to go and then things pop in my head, but we might talk about that. But either way, we're going to get the break here. We're going to attempt to bring in Kendall Randolph, Alabama offensive lineman, for a conversation with him. If he's not, we're going to talk about the Alabama dominating Athlon's all SEC list, first, second, and third team, as well as looking at this Heisman thing. It just dawned on me with Bryce Young's win, we overtook the Auburn Tigers and Heisman Trophy winners as well. Auburn tallied that for quite a while when they had 3, and Alabama was struggling to get any. But we'll talk about that more right here on the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks, everything pretty quiet. Just watch out for standing water on the roadways. We had some pretty heavy showers overnight. If you do see conditions, of course, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Get a lifetime powertrain warranty on both new and used vehicles at no extra cost. From Townsend Nissan, your hometown dealer. I'm Captain Ray.
Tuscaloosa Gunsmith does gun repair, modifications, cleaning, Cerakoting, and laser engraving for guns, and they sell Black Rifle coffee. Tuscaloosa Gunsmith, just off 15th Street behind the fire station.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21.
Work is a part of all of us. We know that the world around us has changed. And that's why the Alabama Department of Labor is here to get you back to working hard. Work is a part of all of us. Let us help you get back to it by visiting your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, ETA, and Federal WIOA, an Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
You want more for your trade? Shop Townsend Nissan. You want a great worry-free warranty? Shop Townsend Nissan and let us show you our lifetime powertrain warranty on our used and new cars. You want a great interest rate? Shop Townsend Nissan. We have 22 lenders available for a great rate just for you. You want a great service department to back up your vehicle? Townsend Nissan Service Department is fully trained and certified. Just want to sell your vehicle? Just bring it on in and let Townsend Nissan purchase it today.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky cloudy at times today. A few passing showers and strong thunderstorms are likely through tonight. The high today 88, tonight's low 70. For tomorrow, partially sunny, a chance of widely scattered showers or thunderstorms. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 76 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Hey, listen, that's the beauty of live radio. You have to be ready to roll inside and out, Joe. It's just like calling an audible. If the defense changes, you have to be ready to change the play. We're at this time, we do not have Kendall Randolph, so we're going to continue to move on. If he calls in, or if we're able to reach back out to him, we'll bring him into the conversation. But until then, the Alabama One hotline is open for business. Alabama One, your one source for all your financial needs. Today, giving a shout out to the Alabama One Aspire Foundation. We're one together, hosting our first annual One Community golf tournament. It will be tomorrow. We will have the former Alabama players that we've mentioned on the course, taking pictures with the teams that are participating. We'll also have Gene Newberry, Tony Johnson, BJ Stabler, and Andy Phillips are also guest celebrities there. But this golf tournament is meant to raise funds to help us continue with community empowerment in the areas of financial wellness, especially when it comes to our children. Go to alabamaonefoundation.org to find out more information about the great partnerships that we have serving our community. Since the beginning of the foundation, we've served over 7,000 kids, and that number is continuing to grow. And we do that because of great folks like you supporting us. alabamaonefoundation.org. All right, guys. Hey, let's keep the conversation going. When we were going to break there, we were talking a little bit about Bryce Young winning, another award. Alabama Sports Writers Association President Chris Walsh said the voting was extremely close. with in terms of Young versus Sonny Lee, who was the gymnast, Olympic gymnast for Auburn University. But the Heisman Trophy, this award started being given out in 1974 in Alabama. I mean, the Heisman Trophy winner has won it every year. Uh, and the only Heisman Trophy from Alabama or Auburn that did win it was Pat Sullivan, who won his before the award started. So, hey, just your thoughts real quick, guys, on um, are you guys old enough to remember the day when that used to be the big thing that was held over um, Alabama's head that we didn't have any Heisman Trophy winners and that that Auburn had put out some of the best players in the country?
Yeah. When Mark Ingram won it in 2009, I was 18. So I remember the days of, Bo at that point in time, Bo Jackson and Pat Sullivan were the two Heisman Trophy winners, and Alabama had none. And then Mark wins it, and it's like Alabama finally got a little something. Then for the next year, Cam Newton to have one of the most dominant seasons ever and win it. And so they're like, well, if y'all win it, we'll just win it right back, was pretty much the gist of things. But I was just looking, not only Auburn, but at the beginning of the Nick Saban era, Georgia had two. Florida had three with Tim Tebow winning it Saban's first year. And then we get one, then turn around and Auburn gets a third. Since then, you've had Johnny Manziel win it. Then you've had three more Joe Burrow, and then three Alabama players have won it since that stretch.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like had Trent's team made it to the SEC championship game, and been playing that Saturday, he would have won it over RG3, Robert Griffin III, but easily good enough to win the Heisman. So, but it's funny, Joey, you guys can speak to this. When we weren't winning them, do you remember what the Alabama folks used to say though?
Oh, we like team awards and champions.
Our narratives change. Our narratives changed real quick when we started winning them, right? It was so. Now, of course, I call it that revisionist history that we're all guilty of sometimes. But yeah, I can remember growing up and when I was here, and people used to say, "Yeah, man, we don't have any Heisman Trophy winners because we're all about the team trophy and we're all about winning national champions." And I guess Nick Saban has helped us be able to say we want both now. But with that, and if you were a bet man, I'm not sure how they have it, but you would have to say if you were saying which team is most likely to have a Heisman Trophy winner, you'd have to throw Bama up there as the leader by far with what's his name with Bryce Young and Will Anderson. Man, what is the if Will Anderson duplicates? Let me ask you this: if Will Anderson duplicates last year and Bryce Young duplicates last year, does Will get the nod or Bryce gets his second one?
It's hard to win two. It's only been done once, and that was Archie Griffin in the 70s. I'm gonna, but Will being a defensive guy, it's hard to win it as a pure defensive guy. It's never been done. That being said, if Will Anderson has another season of 100 tackles, 17 plus sacks, and 30 plus tackles for a loss, the uproar from Alabama fans, from guys who just love defense, might be enough to catapult them because teams are going to be double teaming, triple teaming them this year, and so I think if he's able to do that, Alabama's undefeated. It's going to be hard to keep it from maybe Will being the first defensive player. But I'm going to have to go Bryce if these guys are able to duplicate the numbers in all sincerity, just because it's an offensive award at this point.
Joey, any thoughts from you?
Can I go off the board? Not Will Anderson, not Bryce Young, but Jahmyr Gibbs will be the Heisman Trophy candidate this year.
Yeah. I mean, I hold that thought because I like to come back to that because that's interesting conversation. But if they were to do that, and Jahmyr doesn't have Jahmyr doesn't have the season, the Heisman season. Do you think is more likely that you have a two-time winner, something that's only happened once, or a first-time pure defensive player?
I think. I think I'd like it. If it was all like Joe Gaither's in control, I would like it to be Will Anderson. But I'm gonna go with Xavier. I think that it's more likely that Bryce Young wins the award a second time due to the offensive nature of the award.
And I think we all kind of feel that way about the offense. The only caveat that I would throw in there that helps Will is the hypocrisy of the media will be fully on display if Will Anderson repeats what he did last year and isn't the winner or at least second to a Bryce Young in that scenario because of the way they talked about Hutchinson last year, who was nowhere near the statistical dominant defensive player that Will Anderson was. And so the hypocrisy of the nation for those who put him up there last year would be on full display if that isn't the case, because we have to understand we're talking about a guy who dominated last year and didn't even make it to the finals. So clearly some of the best numbers, especially in this modern era, possibly the best numbers statistically for a defensive player in the modern era. And he didn't even make it to New York. So, but yet a guy who had half the stats was second. So that's going to be a fun thing to watch. But Joe, you do throw in an interesting conversation as Gibbs is one of the other guys to get thrown on that first team all SEC list with Bryce Young and Will Anderson in terms of the Athlons, but kind of make your defense why you think it may be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, I'm kind of playing off one of our guests on Inside the Locker Room. JC Sherbert represents 24/7 Sports for South Carolina, and he basically said that he's that good, and he compared him to Alvin Kamara. I think that Bryce Young's going to be a very good player. Obviously, he is a great player, but I don't know if the weaponry around him is going to be as good this year. I think that you remember we heard J.C. Latham talk about getting the run established. I think that this year having a dynamic running back will keep the offense operating at a high level, especially as the newer weapons around Bryce get more comfortable. I just think that Jahmyr Gibbs will present a great weapon for Alabama, both as a running back and then as catching passes out of the backfield as well.
Also, add in the fact that he's a dynamic return guy as well.
True. Do you think Alabama uses him as a return guy? Because
why not?
He made the SEC as a return guy, all SEC as a return guy, and I don't even know if coming out of spring we even had that as part of his game.
No, when they kicked off, he returned. He was back there.
No, I'm saying that we were not even talking about that being something that catapults him to even more of an MVP. We saw him returning it, but
they used Jamison last year as a return guy. They used him as a gunner on punt coverage. So why not let Jahmyr, get back there and return kicks? And if you believe in, Roydale and Jace and Trey behind them, that it allows you to give them a break or two throughout the course of the game with the added responsibility of returning kicks.
All right. We'll go ahead and get the break here. Coming back, we'll get Chuck Hunt into the conversation. I'm sure he wanted to talk a little bit about the Heisman. If you want to talk about the Heisman, you can get in on the conversation as well at 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Well, Lentil Lift is certainly our new sponsor. We appreciate them taking time to be on our show. What is your lintel? It's the load-bearing structure just above the garage door. Over the years, the weight of the bricks above a garage door put pressure on the structure. The pressure eventually causes the bricks to crack. Lentil Lift, it has a solution, and it works without having to rebuild the entire garage door area. That's pretty darn important. After countless hours of research, testing, Lentil Lift has developed the most efficient and economical method of repairing sagging and hermetic garage entrals. The strongest permanent repair solution you can get, and you can only get it from Lentil Lift. Dan, the Lentil man, who I'll talk about in just a minute, does a great job. You can call him. Lentil Lift will install steel beams that go across the top of your garage door to permanently prevent lintel from sagging at all. These beams are pre-engineered to lift specific weight ranges to straight plane. Contact Lentil Lift today and get a free quote. 205-858-LIFT. 205-858-5438.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle squeals or grinds when you slow down or just isn't stopping like it used to, you may need new brake rotors and pads. Now through June 28th at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore safe braking and save money now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, or order online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, you're back in with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Don't forget about Taco Casa. Taco Casa quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. Go check them out for lunch and or dinner. They are a great selection, and they look forward to serving you. 6 locations in Tuscaloosa, West Alabama. To better serve you, one up in Birmingham off of Lakeshore Drive as well. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. All right. Hey, let's go to Chuck real quick. Chuck, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, you three. I'm doing just fine. I was just chiming in on the conversation about the Heisman Trophy.
Yes,
That is something to think about. That is something to think about. I remember that for a while, Alabama didn't have a Heisman winner because and I look at schools like your rival Auburn. Yeah, they had 3. I remember when Bo Jackson won the Heisman. I was a child then. I look at where I am now, going on 47, and that's something to think about. That, and I think about Bama had all those great teams, national championship teams that it had Heisman candidates like Joe Namath and some others, but they didn't win it. But yeah, I never thought the day that I was going to see a Heisman winner until Mark Ingram won it in 2009, and what happened? I think about it, and all this has happened since Nick Saban has been the head football coach over there, and it just seemed like it just continued on. You had Ingram, you had Derrick Henry, the guy from my home state, Devontae Smith, and Bryce Young, and yo asked the question, can he win it back to back? I said, well, I don't know how many people can do Archie Griffin at Ohio State. And I think about it, when he won that second one, I think it was 75. Same year I was born.
Yeah. You still there, Chuck? Did we lose
I'm
Chuck?
still here.
Yeah.
No, I just stopped talking. Yeah, I just stopped.
But yeah, Chuck, I think Archie first of all was playing in a different time. I think that media coverage was a little different back then, and if you were a top player back then, there were only and it being a national award, he got a lot more exposure. Now there's a lot more exposure to guys and things like that to compete against. The big name guys and to win the Heisman, because for a long time it was pretty much a select group of colleges that were winning the Heismans. The Oklahomas of the world, the Notre Dames of the world, Ohio States of the world. That's kind of who won it, and it was a media driven. If you were in a big region, Tim Tebow should have been the back-to-back guy when he won it. One year he was actually better the next year, but they were not going to give it to him. That was a political vote thing, anti-SEC thing, anti-Tim Tebow thing. So it's the award is what it is. But I'll tell you, Chuck, I put more blame on the University of Alabama for not having one before Tim Tebow. Before Mark Ingram than I do the voters, though. I can tell you for a fact we held our heads high and almost to the point of prideful with we haven't won. We haven't won a Heisman. We used to take pride in that. And it was about promoting sports information department and all that. The university would not promote a guy. And that's why some of the likes of the Joe Namath and the Bobby Humphreys and,
Bobby Humphreys.
Think about this. When you talk about the season, if you promote Derek Thomas, the dude had 28 sacks in 11 games. That's what nobody talks about. He didn't have 28 sacks with a 12-game season, an SEC championship, and 2 rounds of the playoffs. He had that many sacks in an 11-game season.
You're exactly right. I remember I watched him play. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He was something. He and Cornelius Bennett, all those guys. They was great. And And people forget about the Heisman, about the origins. The first Heisman winner came. They don't even have Heisman, is Jay Berwanger, Chicago back in the 30s. And and another thing, the Heisman Trophy winners used to come from the Ivy League as well, and used to come from the military academy. Think about Army, and you had one from the Navy that was Roger Staubach. But that's those are some things that people forget about.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate you, man.
All right. You all take care. Healthy conversation. You all take care. Be safe.
You too. Yeah, guys. The Alabama, and hey, listen, I love Alabama, but I also would just say what it is what it is, guys. In Alabama, we got to a point that we started taking way too much pride in the fact that we didn't have a Heisman, and I remember when we came out for a campaign for Sean Alexander. That was like the first time I remember in my lifetime Alabama actually promoting an individual player. So,
yeah, you you look at it. I mean, I don't have as much knowledge or history of it from the standpoint of seeing it happen. When Sean Alexander was in the running, I was 8 or 9 years old. So I've really only gotten to see us push guys forward up under Coach Saban, because after Sean, you didn't really have a team or a player that would have been up for it until Mark. But you look at Mark, you look at Trent, AJ, and all those guys. It's almost to the point where it gets to where there's almost a guy every year, if not every other year, at the most, up for the Heisman now.
yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that. So we are now clearly one of the top teams in terms of individual and team awards. And speaking of that, Alabama has 18 guys at some level on the Athlon's award list for all preseason All SEC. Any surprises on that list from you guys, or anybody you think should or possibly maybe bumped up from their current position?
I can see guys like on the third team. You have Cameron Latou and Kool-Aid McKinstry. You can see them having great seasons this year, getting moved up the list. You can see it's the third and fourth teams. The fourth team guys are Javion Cohen, DJ Dale, Brian Branch, and DeMarco Helms. You can see all 6 of those guys between the third and fourth team potentially having a season that could put them on the first or second team. The second team, first team guys look great. As you said, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's the first team all-purpose player, and then he's the second team return guy. So,
Joe, will more than one offensive lineman have to be on that all SEC first or second team if Jamar Gibbs is gonna have a Heisman Trophy type season?
Yeah, I second Xavier right there. I think Javion Cohen and Emil Ekio present you some really good options right there. Obviously, lots of questions around the tackles, but I think that the potential is there for Tyler Steen. And I mean, maybe I'm sucked into the interview that we heard last week, but I really liked what I heard out of J.C. Latham too. So
Yeah.
I think that the offensive line has a lot of potential to return to being great.
Yeah, I think the fact that they're talking about wanting to be dominant, back to your Heisman statement earlier, it sounds like a team, Joe X, that wants to reestablish itself as a runner, a run first type of team, and so it's a very interesting dynamic. Is this team going to need to, first of all, establish itself as a run team to give the Burtons of the world a chance to come along with Bryce Young. And in doing so, is that going to be what catapults Gibbs into that spotlight early in the season? So I think we're kind of thinking the same way. And then you hear the likes of, I don't know if you heard JC on the Ryan Fowler show on the game with Ryan Fowler, where he said last year was a failure. Did you hear that?
Yeah, and that's pretty harsh outlook, but good for him.
Yeah, isn't that, I mean, Ryan and I were talking off air about that, guys. Think about the standard. We talk about it and stuff like that, Joe. How many of us are walking around thinking last year was a failure? As fans, none of us, right? We got beat by we can to me as a fan, you can go, listen, man, I think we win that game, even though Georgia had 1,500, NFL players on that team. If we don't lose our best wide receiver, I feel like we probably come away with a win in that game. After having lost our second best wide receiver the time before. But yet we don't feel like it's a failure. But that team, when I hear them saying that, Joe, I remember what we felt like going into the offseason when we felt like we were the best team in the country and had to come back and wait another year and from 91 to 92, and how it drove us all offseason, all spring, all summer. And so with the talent they have on the Crimson Tide, if that's the case, whoo-hoo, got to be excited about it. So, of course, we'll talk more about that. We do have to get to break here. And we are going to work to see if we can possibly get Kendall Randolph to join us on tomorrow. But if not, hey, we'll keep things moving here. It's been we've had 3 great interviews, and we'll hope to get that 4th one. Also want to remind you that coming up next, we have Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
This is Jabari Pruitt from WVUA 23 News and the Town Square News Center. Misty Lynn Freeman Clark, a Walker County woman, was found unresponsive on the ground in the city of Dora on Sunday. Police is calling her death suspicious. Her body has been sent for an autopsy to determine the cause of death. If you have any information, call the Dora Police Department. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says the man who was struck and killed by a vehicle is that of missing Aliceville man 63-year-old Ray Charles Lewis. He had been missing since June 1st. The accident happened June 2nd near Oscar Baxter Drive in Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400 horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Ariya.
Tuscaloosa Gunsmith does gun repair, modifications, cleaning, Cerakoting, and laser engraving for guns, and they sell Black Rifle coffee. Tuscaloosa Gunsmith, just off 15th Street behind the fire station. It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, brought to you by Pepsi.
If you have a community event in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama, tell us about it. All you have to do is Email the information to Tuscaloosa PSA at townsquaremedia.com. Be sure to include all the details like the cause, date, time, location, and a good contact name and number. Email it to Tuscaloosa PSA at townsquaremedia.com.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and QIOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right. I think I had my mic muted. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's now time for our weekly catch-up with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Martin, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to have you on with us. I'll kick it to you to encourage us how we can incorporate our faith into the boardroom, the classroom, or our chosen field of play, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I like your beat, and I thought you were just gonna let the beat play a little bit. I thought
dude, I was talking it up on this side, man. I was all in, and then I got a couple notes that said, "Hey, we can't hear you." So.
All right. Well, listen, we are continuing with our series on the power of optimism, and I have to do a recap since I missed last week. Just a recap on just our foundational passages and principles related to the power of optimism. And then what we'll do is we'll just continue to build at least for another couple of weeks. So remember, first thing I mentioned was life is about 10% what happens to us and 90% how we respond. And so and when you think about how do you respond, what influences your response? Here's another quote. This is by A.W. Tozer. The most important thing about you is what you believe about God, because it becomes the lens through which you see all of life. Keep that in mind. Talking about, as Martin always does with this intro, he says, hey, we want to, have success in the boardroom, in the classroom, in the field of play, wherever you are. And the bottom line is wherever you are, there you are, right? So the question is, right, how are you responding? And your response has everything to do with, kind of the lens through which you're seeing life. Let me tell you this. This is another one that I hadn't shared, but this is one that came to mind even as I kind of continue to think through this. But I think one of Paul's secrets. Actually, let me give you this verse, and then I'll give you his secret. Another one of his secrets. One other verse is rejoice always. Remember the power of optimism. Rejoice always. Always is a strong word, Martin. Pray continually. And then he says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. He says all. So I want us to say, how is that possible? Well, I'll give you one of his secrets, and then we'll kind of – one thing that Paul did that maybe we could learn from, and I didn't say you could learn from, I said we could learn from, present company included, is that Paul didn't determine what he thought about God through the lens of his circumstances. Did y'all hear that? Paul didn't determine what he thought about God through the lens of his circumstances. He determined what he thought about his circumstances through the lens of his God. You follow me? And so that's what I'm saying. That's one of his secrets. Is that lens. Whatever you think about God is the lens through which you see all of life. And so just to recap, just about Paul being in jail, the way we kick this whole study off is Philippians 1:12-14. Paul is in prison. He's writing a handwritten letter to the church at Philippi, the Philippian people, and he tells them, he says, brothers and sisters, I know y'all know what's happened to me. I know y'all know I'm in jail, and he's trying to calm them down, trying to encourage them, trying to, inspire them. He says, what has happened to me actually served to advance the gospel. As a result, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains for Christ. And because of my chains, most of the brothers and sisters have become confident in the Lord and dare all the more to proclaim the gospel without fear. Here's a guy who says, I am in jail. Yeah, that's a difficult circumstance. It's a difficult circumstance, but I will not view my circumstance, my God through the lens of my circumstance, but I'll view my circumstance through the lens of my God. And what does that show me? When I look at my circumstance through the lens of my God, what I see is, hey, God is allowing people to know more about Christ here in the prison, the palace guard, the people that I'm imprisoned with. Even people outside of the jail are being more inspired, more encouraged, more challenged, having more courage to preach the gospel because they see, man, look at what God's doing through Paul. And so what I want you to see is, and I'll close with this for today, and then we'll kind of pick back up next week. But I want you to think through, what is God doing through your circumstance? Again, as you look at the circumstance through him, understand that every circumstance gives us at least two opportunities. It's to know him more. Okay, you get a chance to know God more. Yeah. You've read that God is Jehovah Jireh, but when you go through something and you need him to, Jehovah Jireh means God's our provider. But when you go through something and you pray, Lord, I need you to provide, and he does, now you know him that way more, even more intimately. So every opportunity we go through, difficulty we go through, gives us a chance to know him, but it also gives us a chance to make him known, for people to see him through our lives, depending on how we respond. So I want to encourage you to say, whatever you're going through, it's not just about you. It's about you having the opportunity to know God more and to make him more known.
That is so awesome, Scotty. Sunday, you would have been proud of him, man. I preached a message. The title was "Undefeated Champion," because he is, you are.
Ooh, that is strong.
Just think on what Scotty just told y'all. How you see God will determine how you see everything else. And he is the undefeated champion, and because he is, you are an undefeated champion. So go check out. There's a whole list of scripture. If you want to go back to Harvest Church, you can find that message from this past Sunday. I might actually replay it as well, rebroadcast it on a couple of my Facebook pages, Harvest Church being one of them. But yeah, and as I was preaching that message, Scotty, one of the points I made, I used the song "Champion" to walk through, the things. It starts off with how we see him, and then how we see ourselves as a result of how we see him. So, so true. It was a really good, powerful message by the anointing of God. But tell our listeners where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. It comes straight to my email.
All right. Hey, and by the way, you and I need to talk about Elevate. Someone brought that to my attention. And so you and I'll get together and talk about that too at some point. See what you think about that. So awesome, man. Appreciate you. Love you being on, man. So glad to be partnered with Blueprint Ministries and Scotty Hollins. Thanks to the great folks at Johnson Martin Dentistry. Thank you, sir. All right. Hey.
Bro.
All right, man. X, tell them real quick where they can find you, sir, and when we get out of here.
Yes, sir. You can find me at X&O Sports, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, across all social media platforms.
All right. We got a lot of podcasters on here. Joe has some things going. We'll highlight him as well. Want to encourage all of you. Hey, you are a champion, undefeated champion, because he's a champion. How you see God will determine how you see everything else in the lens in which you look to. Through. Remember this, you can trust in him always. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He will direct your paths. Thank you, everybody, for all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters out there. Roll Tide, everybody. Have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama
Thanks,
sports.
guys.
Tide
Great
100.9
job. Audio definitely is better.
on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks on this Wednesday morning, but we do have a report of traffic signals being out on McFarland and Academy Drive. Please use caution. If you see other conditions, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Get a lifetime powertrain warranty on both new and used vehicles at no extra cost from Townsend Nissan, your hometown dealer. I'm Captain Ray.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a new LG laundry set with Turbo Wash 3D that provides a powerful yet gentle clean in just 29 minutes, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot.